The obligatory Talit flip. Shabbat Shalom. It seems that dreams matter. It seems that dreams are incredibly important. After all, dreams have played a significant role in the lives of our patriarchs up to this point. We have dreams with Abraham between the parts when he establishes the covenant and foresees the eventual oppression of his people in a foreign land. We have famously the dream of Yaakov with the ladder between earth and heaven and the angels ascending and descending. And we see the dreams of Joseph as precipitating a cascade of events that lead to the fulfillment of Abraham's dream of our people being in a land where they will be oppressed. And then add to that the dream of the cupbearer, the baker, and Pharaoh himself. Dreams figure prominently. Are dreams then prophecy? Sometimes. Isn't that convenient? They are prophecy after the fact when we're able to tell that they were true, but they were just meaningless mental gibberish when they don't come true. Well, how does that help us then? Where do we go from there? If you have a dream that shows that you will become the discoverer of some amazing new technology, is that prophecy? Or is that your brain just obsessing about the latest gadget? How do I know? What do I do with this vision? What do I do with this information? And if I act upon it, am I not at risk of creating a self-fulfilling prophecy? Think for a moment about the brothers. When they finally realize that Joseph is down in Egypt and he is the one who has been tormenting them, and that he is now the one that they were forced to bow to because of the whole subterfuge that we've been reading about, do you think they slapped their foreheads and went, "So wait a minute. If we had just left the brat alone back in Canaan, never tried to get rid of him, never sold him off, just said, yeah, nice dream, stupid little brother. If we had just left it alone, he never would have ended up in Egypt, and he never would have ended up second in command, and we never would have ended up coming to bow to his feet unknowingly, begging for scraps of food. So wait a minute, did we make his dream come true? Is it our fault that he ended up Lord over us? And doesn't that then mean that we were obligated to do this? Are we not trapped then by these dreams? Are we not bound then by the dream as prophecy, that it is inescapable, that even as we run from our destiny, seeking to rid ourselves of this boy who thinks he will rule over us, we are unavoidably confirming the dream that he has had? And does that mean that if we had not gotten rid of him, he would have lorded it over us anyway? We are destined. Our free will is meaningless. Indeed, Joseph seems to hint at this. Joseph himself says to the brothers, when he has finally revealed himself to them and when they are still a little uncertain of what their relationship will be, he says, it's okay. What you did was what God wanted to happen. Can we let them off the hook that easily? Can we believe then that our free will is nothing but an illusion, nothing but a dream? Well, as you can probably imagine, Judaism is a little bit skeptical of such ideas. Judaism does not go into dream and omen reading as prophecy for the future. Judaism does not believe that there is a railroad driving us through to our destiny, and that regardless of what we think we are doing, we are going where we're going. Instead, our rabbis have noticed that indeed dreams do sometimes have a glimmer of truth within them, some interesting insight that our mind has been able to dig out of reality when it is freed from its turmoil of the day, that perhaps there is something to be gleaned. But, they argue, what comes from a dream only comes because of the interpretation of the dream. What comes from a dream only comes from an interpretation of the dream. Indeed, when the cupbearer is giving the resume of Joseph to the king, to the Pharaoh, he says not just that he was spot on, but he says what happened was as he said would happen. The rabbis say, so if Joseph had said differently, the dream might have been fulfilled differently. And the rabbis go on to give examples. The most famous is a set of interpretations of similar dreams or same dreams between Rava and Abaye by a dream interpreter, who is not a very nice person, who, when one pays him, gives a very favorable interpretation. And when the other refuses to pay him, gives a very negative interpretation for the same dream. And what happens? The one who had the positive interpretation reaps positive benefits, and the one who has negative interpretation reaps negative benefit from the same dream. One example, there's a whole list of this in the Talmud and Brachot, this dream of a cow being slaughtered in front of them, but not being able to eat the meat. To the one who pays, he says, you are going to be so successful that even if a cow was slaughtered in front of you, you would not need to eat of it because you would already be satisfied with all you have. Nice spin. And for the one who refuses to pay, he says, people are going to kill your animals and you're not going to be able to enjoy it. You're going to lose out here, mister. And lo and behold, it happens as he tells. Now, lest we think that he is somehow changing the future, that he is controlling it through his magical interpretations, the Talmud goes on to explain that you can actually create the dream and the interpretation. When various pontiffs and potentates are grilling the rabbis to prove that they're not as smart as they think they are, and they say, oh, you're so clever and you know so much, then tell me, what am I going to dream tonight? The rabbi says, well, what you're going to dream tonight is you're going to dream, Mr. Roman Emperor, that you are in chains and serving the king of Persia, and you will be his shepherd. And of course, it says the Roman Emperor thought about this all day long, worried and obsessed about such an image, and guess what he dreamed about that night? Exactly that. Indeed, our dreams are under our control, as is their interpretation, which means so too their outcome. This is what our rabbis give us from this Torah portion and all of our discussion of dreams. We all have dreams, but every dream is driven by us, and the interpretation of that dream is more important than the original vision. So let's go back for a moment and see what heartache could have been avoided if the brothers of Joseph had just thought about this a little bit more. Here he is, our brother Joseph, telling us a dream where there are sheaves of grain that just so happen to number the number of other brothers, bowing down before him. Give me the better interpretation that doesn't make us out to be slaves. That's the only possible meaning that it could have. Joseph becomes rich. Who said the sheaves of grain are you? Who said you're the sheaves of grain just because you happen to number the right amount? How about if you say that's the number of months that he's going to have a good harvest? How about if you say that's the number of farms that he's going to own? How about if you just say he'll be very successful in his agricultural endeavors? Then you would be wishing well for him. Yes, that does seem to be with what the dream is implying. But you will not be wishing harm upon yourself. You will not see his dream as a threat to your happiness. You can interpret his dream constructively, positively. You can interpret his dream in a way that is not taking away from you. Because in the telling of dreams, it is not a zero-sum game. Just because another person dreams of greatness does not mean they dream of your smallness. And just because it may even seem like the fulfillment of their dream will require the diminution of your status, does not mean that has to be how it will be interpreted. The dreams of all can be fulfilled as a blessing for all, if we interpret their dreams in a way that is a blessing for all and a threat to none. This was the lesson that the brothers missed. They saw Joseph's success as coming at the expense of their own. And so they resented his dreams and tried to drive him away. But success was something that Joseph would achieve wherever he went because he had an attitude that looked for the opportunity and looked for the chance of success and was willing to work to get there. And so they could not truly extinguish that dream. But what they could do was drive it in a direction that would make the worst implications of it the reality that they had feared. That is what must be avoided when we hear another's dream. Hear in it a blessing rather than an attack or a curse. In your own dreams, focus on what you hope for, not only for yourself, but for all others as well. Look for that positive aspect in order that dreams can come true and be worthy of doing so, and that we can all share in the blessings that such dreams can bring. Shabbat Shalom.